Speak Life podcast, only podcast that expand your life expectancy. Understand?
You don't want to seem too serious, alright? When you be relaxed.
Never serious.
Alright, that's good. Let's start off with the name first.
Okay, yeah, Tenfranx was... So I used to go to Switzerland a lot from 2009, 2009 I started going to Switzerland, and it's architecturally, art-wise, it was the first place in Europe I kind of spent the longest time in after the UK, and the culture, the people, everything is so different. And they have their own money, and there's the 10 franc note has this guy on it. You have to Google it, and he's looking down from his glasses, and he's like giving somebody a cut eye, he's not here for the bullshit. And I was thinking, who is this guy? And it's so synonymous with what Swiss people are they're very, I don't want to say conservative, but they're kind of how do I say this without being canceled in Switzerland? Because I kind of like it there. As far as countries go, I definitely don't want to be canceled. It's especially the German part of Switzerland, it's not stuck up, but it's nobody's as friendly as this side of the world anyway. They're so good at the things they do that it's not that no general conversation or making small talk, none of that. So it was a culture shock in that respect. I remember walking around in the morning and Caymanian saying morning, morning, and people are looking at you why is this fucking girl saying telling me good morning? It doesn't make any sense. So the guy on the note is essentially that exact same thing. It's this beautiful yellow colorful note, and there's a guy with his glasses as the person on it giving somebody a cut eye. And I just thought, I kept a 10 franc note in my wallet since then. And then years later I got into architecture and design and furniture. I'm obsessed with old mid-century modern furniture. I love the architectural designs of it because they were all done by architects. Back then and the guy on the note I found out is Le Corbusier, who's a French Swiss super famous architect, designer, urban planner, and he really was this kind of not bad boy, but he got a lot of hate in Switzerland too, because he would break the rules so loudly in a place where you're not supposed to make a statement without not making a statement. So so then I just stuck with live your life as 10 francs. That guy on the note who doesn't give a shit. He's looking at you bitch, get your shit together. And then to find out that is actually who the person is.
I get it.
Yeah.
I get that. That does say that. Does end.
So just 10 francs. And I like it because it's the exchange rate is so bad that 10 francs is literally $2.
Okay.
But it's you don't need much to make an impact.
I get you. And what I was gonna say is the whole note. And comparing with your personality and all of that. I could see why I don't think it would have just been a mere coincidence.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's funny you say that, because the reason I thought of the name, because before I fell in love with who the person was, I love that designer, but I didn't know that was the guy on that note.
Oh, okay.
So the story of I picked the name, and then years later I found out who it was, and I was like, hell yeah.
All right, so the next one is, how do you build a life that you don't run away from? And I feel that question is so personal to you.
It really is, especially where I am now. How do you build? I guess I've realized that this, especially with me, that if you're doing your own project and it's all you as an artist or a writer, that responsibility to not fail and do it properly is something that keeps you there. If you're especially with any job really, not just artists, writers, whatever, if you're working for somebody else, that that need to you're helping somebody else's dream become a reality. But if it's like your own thing, if anything, it's a detriment because you can't mentally switch off. So the only way to not run away is to like make sure you're in control of the project and work and anything you're doing. Because I mean, and there's a pride thing as well. Like if you're an artist, like you want to like make it the best it can be and like be better, like bettering yourself. Like I feel like as artists and anybody like in sports, you're kind of your own worst enemy. But like I think that's something that definitely keeps somebody there, because to let somebody down is bad, but to like let yourself down,
it's a different body.
yeah, it's if
body.
anything, yeah, it's something that can like kind of ruin your life on the other way too, like if you can't just stop doing something.
It is.
Speaking from experience. Bye.
I mean, that's the thing that's like really something that fuels the journey though, like whatever journey you're on is the experience.
Exactly.
Right? So I think it's how you look at it, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like whatever the encounter is.
Definitely. And like so much more from a mistake than you do from getting something right. Like getting something right, yeah, it feels good, but like if you get something wrong, like that is like a lesson that you think about every single time you like come in contact with that same situation.
Yeah. This is the concept now, alright?
Okay.
So I have this logic where I've been thinking of lately, and it's like being good or bad doesn't value as much as people think, other than the morality of it, right? And this is why I say that. Look at Hitler for example. Like
Touchy subject now.
He needed, like, he was good when he needed to be and bad when he needed to be. So I don't think it was a matter of if he's a nice person or not that guaranteed his success, you understand?
I think there was a poem by Pablo Neruda, who's like an incredible poet. And he'd written a poem about, basically it's like a diary entry or something, not a poem, but he's like talking about kind of raping this like servant in Sri Lanka, and he writes about it, and you look at, especially in the times like back then, like these misogynistic men or artists who have done bad shit, like should we not play their music anymore? I think you can you like respect the art without respecting the artist? And I think that's possible. I also think it's important, like even when somebody does something bad, to not cancel the stuff they've done, because by canceling the stuff they've done, that conversation about this person and the bad things they did disappears completely. Like bad or good, whatever you do, like that person should still be talked about, because by talking about what that did, that makes you confront the person and the bad shit that they did.
I get you.
Yeah, I mean, it's all part of the story. And then maybe if it's a bad fucking person who did bad shit, like surely you should want to keep that alive so we can make sure to see the red flags for like the next Hitler.
Yeah, it is that is factual when you put it like that. But as I said, like putting art. But this is why I said it ties back into Switzerland.
Yeah.
I like that anytime like I'm on to a point, you like jump in. But anyway.
My bad, that it's a problem.
Nah, it's funny. So, but even back to the whole Switzerland thing, like these are just action. These are their way of let go energy. Like for example, if I got pent up anger, I probably be like fuck, or then I just probably be like, you know what, let me breathe. But these are both ways of for me releasing my anger, right? So I'm like, that person, whatever energy they had and whatever they converted to, or what in the way that they released it, right? I don't want to go and touch the subject again, but something else. Say I decide to like throw something with art, like tear up my art after someone says like they don't like it, right? You saying like, all right, keeping the story alive, because now they know like, don't tell this dude that his art don't look good, because he's gonna tear his thing up. But it's not like, again, I don't want to. I think like the focus shifts when you say, "Oh, it's about a good thing." Like, the nature of it is lost.
Exactly,
like,
and that
lost.
part of it is still part of the story for the end result. Yeah, I don't think bad or good matters in that sense.
As you say, it's like the lesson.
The lesson, and when you when you achieve it at the end, and when you do something well, you're gonna want a memory of like all of those steps that took you to get there. And
that's where the morality part comes in.
Yeah.
I feel like, do you want to look back at it and have guilt, or like do you want to look back at it and be at ease? You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, I think it's more of less of a morality thing and more of like an ethics thing, that like the person, as long as like the person's intentions.
So what would you say is the difference between morality and ethics?
Ethics are like the morality is more of like this inner compass, and ethics is like the kind of like a conduct by which you act within like a field.
Okay.
So a morality thing is a subjective thing within each person.
Okay.
Like you can be a good person and have a like that conscience like devil and something,
Yeah.
but like the ethics is like how you operate with other people within your field and stuff. So like if you're internally your intentions, like that has nothing to do, like the ethics I think is a different problem, because if you're conducting yourself in a bad way and there are other people involved and they're being hurt, like it, that still shouldn't be hidden, but like that's a bigger cross to bear than like someone's own inner strife.
Yeah. So normally in the middle of the podcast, I ask artists to give the people financial advice, one financial advice. However, if you repeat the advice that somebody's already given, like you have to give another one.
Yeah. Well, I'm struggling, so like you can skip that one.
It's any like.
I would say don't depend. My dad used to say this, which is very true. I wanted to study music. I was really good at music in school and like all the arts. And my dad was like an artist too, and then he became a doctor. In fact, he studied medicine because he was so good at like sketching, like so he could draw the anatomy really well. And he told me never make your passion your job. If it's something that is so, I mean, you're gonna be struggling to create if there's the pressure of like paying a light bill on it. Yeah. That like free creative thinking, I totally understood what he meant. In the sense that you're probably going to be struggling for a while. And if you're a real artist, like when you're under the pressure of needing to do something for money, I don't think you'll have the space to like create your best work. But I mean, most art is created under struggles anyway. So if you're starving and miserable, you'll probably make some great shit.
If you look at it like this way, like say you do your artworks and you put them aside as like equity, then there isn't really that pressure, you know?
Yeah.
But like when it comes to like a client, then I think it's just how you position your mind in situations.
That's a smarter thinking. Like I think my dad was immediately thinking that like you're not gonna make any money. That's a much like smarter, like your generation is so much better for like understanding the marketing aspects of stuff.
Funny logic. I don't think I would have been able to look at the situation if I never learned from people. Like, not to say your generation, to say like, but like
we suck.
Nah, I don't know.
But
you guys are truly like your generation is like a foundational generation.
Yeah.
Like we're just like first floor, second floor, and every generation is like a higher floor, but you can't change the foundation. You understand?
We're that basement.
I really do have to come to you guys and have a conversation to learn certain stuff, you know.
I think it's nice to see that like you're, instead of just like trying to find an easy answer with like Google or something, that like learning by talking to people, like I think that's the best thing that we had.
It's necessary.
You couldn't just go on Google.
And I realized the importance of it, because like, let me do art, for example, and look at Google. You go to Google to get an answer for something, you just get an answer. When you go to someone, you get the vibrational energy, you get the answer, you get the feeling, because one conversation could change someone's life. So like, there's so many other stuff that you get with it, that if I'm supposed to create an art after this, I have, when somebody looks at it, they could feel the feeling that the art conveys, you understand? Unlike Google or like AI, it might convey the feeling, but it's not that original, you know? It's not that memorable. Like, you know, okay, that's an AI, let me put it in that category. It's like,
and not just that, like that whole saying, like I love the saying, trust the process, because your artistic process is so important, and you don't learn that from Google.
You don't.
Like just talking to somebody, their process, it may not apply at all, but you're always learning something from somebody else. I'm so proud of you. Like, why are you interviewing us? Like, we should be interviewing you.
Nah.
Next episode.
Number 4. Where does your inspiration comes from?
It sounds really bad, but like when bad shit happens, like I write some really great things. Like. As I think, because I think it really is an outlet. Like how many people now do you see like who are super happy, like just like painting like flowers and just like there's some pain that produces some really great work, those deep feelings. And I feel like it's less about creating something, like maybe for a client it's different, but like personally that outlet is like so cathartic. So I feel like it was a way of healing, or like a way of dealing with things. And like especially now with social media and you're getting bombarded with so many things, kind of like doing something with your hands or like using your mind or painting or anything like that, you're kind of using both hemispheres of your brain at the same time. Like it's so healthy instead of just like staring at a screen. Like when people say like, yeah, well, watch a show if you're stressed out or something, that's still like screen time. It's relaxing, but it's not that outlet for a certain type of emotion. And then you have like something tangible as proof of like this healing.
All right, can I attack you for a second, right? Earlier you spoke on control. I don't remember word for word what was what you spoke on control, right? And like for me, I am able to like express words or like express myself by remembering the feeling. I probably don't remember what I want to say, but I can remember the feeling,
yeah.
Right? So like, do you feel this? And this is just an observation. I observe a lot of things, right? Do you feel like control has some effect on your creation, but not like in a positive way?
Yeah, definitely like negative.
Because think about it, I want to ask you a question. If you had like a river flowing through your house, right? Like, what would you do? Would you like block it, or you would allow it to flow through?
I would probably have like 15 panic attacks, like while it's coming in, and like.
All right, so that's my point. It's kind of like on the control part.
Yeah.
Because it's like everything is energy. Life, like all of this life, right? And it's energy, and it's kind of like with energy it flows, you know.
Yeah.
And for you to be in accordance with energy, and as you said, like certain stuff, or look, we say like you have to be on a certain pain level to create like beautiful art. That's just, I feel that's just because you're in submission to the flow of energy, you understand? So you just release them because it's an energy release. Art is an energy release, and creation is an energy release, you understand? So like, just from my perspective, because I do like all type of arts, and that's my thing, I don't want to stick down to one niche, but I feel like look into it about like, instead of controlling a lot of energy, just maintain it, you know what I mean? Not more so control where the way you want to go, but like see what it makes you do, or see what it makes you do.
Yeah, no, that's a valid point for sure, especially when you're, I think for me, the like exactly what you said, like for writing, I had this problem like even when I was in college. Like I could not stop editing until the last minute. Like it wasn't perfect enough. It wasn't, and just to sit back and like see like this is pretty good. But I'm enjoying the process more instead of looking at the end goal of something.
You bask in it.
Yeah, I'm enjoying like getting there.
And that's something that I realize about you a lot. You cherish emotions, you cherish experiences and all that. That makes you a really good artist also.
Thank you so much. That means so much to me.
Like the thing is, every artist is different. Like I have these conversations and I look at all art. So my thing is, I grew up in an environment where I always had to second guess people's intention, because if you don't, it could have caused you your life, right? So for me now, like it became a talent when I started using it the right way and not using it to protect my fears.
Yeah.
And then I realized that I had this talent where I wouldn't say a talent, but
I would say talent. After this conversation, like I'm blown away.
You think it's a talent?
Oh my gosh! Like you're so insightful.
I feel like
I'm learning so much.
I feel like it's alright. So not to get in like a lot of my history, like where I grew up and all that, but for my traumas, I was never one to like, I would laugh about a lot of stuff because I understood energy release from a really younger age, you understand? So I'd laugh about it, but however, I never remember the memory like that, so, but I remember the feeling, so my subconscious will start acting when the feeling comes around.
Yeah.
And that subconscious might not be a good action, you know? So with music, I started taking on music, and then I realized with music, it's like, these are feelings. Even like sometimes I meditate and it's like certain feelings. Like even for me, or emotion is, they say emotions is energy in motions, right?
Yeah. Oh, I
like,
never heard that. That's a good one.
And that's what it is. And I really deeped it when like my chest, I was meditating and like my chest felt tight, and I was like, what feeling can I associate this with other than the physical feeling? And I like, when I'm annoyed or feel like I'm cornered, I have the same feeling. And then I started to think about it, and then I started picturing myself in the position, and then I was able to like talk to myself.
Yeah.
Like, you understand what I'm saying? But
I had the exact same thing, and then I realized that like each time I'm feeling panicky, it's a positive because it's a reminder that I really care about this situation.
And
because if I didn't care, if I didn't
really
care, then I wouldn't be so affected by it. So it's showing me that like this matters, or it's a good thing that like I care so much, and then you just kind of feel better.
It is. All right, think about this Tenfranx. Like everything happens in your mind before it happens in the physical. Like this right here, it was in the mind before it became physical, right? So that's not just like, it is a universal thing, but it's not like a special category thing. It's like to the smallest degree and to the highest degree. So like whatever you want, it's just that we don't remain in alignment with the thought. Because now if I want to make a call, I'm going to remain in alignment until I make that call. You understand? Doing what I need to do to get the call. But then like when it comes to like bigger scale dreams and all that, it's like that's where we get thrown off. And a lot as artists, because artists, we care a lot. So we hear a lot, we see, we use our senses a lot. You understand? And we had to understand that. Just like how things happen in the physical first, I'm gonna fuck your mind up, alright? Alright.
You're already there. You're like halfway there.
Alright, so you see how you got all your senses, they work in your dreams, right? I know some people don't dream, but like, do you dream?
No, mine are all fucked up.
Alright, so like your
They're
senses
amazing
work,
though.
right?
Yeah.
Like your nose, your eyes, all of that, right? But if someone comes in the room and it's like calling you, like probably you don't wake up immediately, but you start looking around in your dream, see who's calling you, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, if you're the conscious or the physical is able to reach out to you in like the unconscious, why can't the unconscious reach out to you in the physical?
Yeah.
And the reason for saying that is not that you could connect to some spiritual well.
Yeah.
It's more so like this is where your dreams happen, this is where your dreams occur, right? Like what do we create? It happens there. So you're possible to receive guidance from the unconscious while you
definitely. Like I keep a notepad next to my bed because like sometimes I'll come like my dreams are like I'll come up with some incredible thoughts, especially like that state like just before you wake up.
Is it
like
theta?
you're like kind of asleep, like half asleep.
It's theta.
And those thoughts, like I'm like, get this shit down. Now I'll just start recording it on my voice recorder on the phone, and I'll wake up and be like, "What the fuck is that?"
You know what's funny though? Theta is made purely out of feelings.
Yeah.
It purely out of feelings, and they said that's like between the ages 1 to 7, like you operate off theta.
Yeah.
And all that. So like for me, like my greatest love I learned it during theta. My greatest like lesson I learned about deception, lesson I learned about all of that is like during that time
all
period.
that stuff. I just feel like sometimes, like, what do you think about like everything you're saying? Because like you're such a thinker, and the same as me, like such a not like your brain is going all the time, like good, like art, not whatever. Are you able to like physically just stop and be present? I think that's a problem we all kind of have.
It's not so much, as I say, it's like a flow. And as I said, like when I started meditating, I went to this part where like my head was in like a washing
spiral
machine. So it's like it's not so much it's when I went against the flow I would struggle, right? And for me, going against the flow, that was me taking control. But the only reason why it hit me like that, I was never someone who was good at order. So it's like maybe I shouldn't even be controlling this, and maybe that was like the lazy part of me talking. But then I started to see like life already has a stubbornness, a natural stubbornness to itself. Like you understand? Like life naturally has a stubbornness.
Exactly.
So why do I need to be stubborn too? And then it's like I could create though from this, because you kind of become a different percentage in life when you become someone who could create in chaos. Everybody panics in chaos.
The best is great, and you feel like it's such a win.
It is
when you look back and be like, look at what I fucking did in spite of.
The thing though, as you just said, like your mind, sometimes you got stopped. You understand?
Just breathe. What I do is I started doing it when I was in London, where I'd see people like I'd sit on the top of the double-decker bus, and you can like see up, and so I realized like if anything you're doing, just take 15 seconds to stop and appreciate what you're doing. Like if you're taking a shit, stop and just say, and it makes you like enjoy life so much more. But not even that, like just making a cup of coffee, like sitting here, just 15 seconds, just sit and be like, it like everything seems so much better.
It's a different vibration. So it's like when you fill that void with it, and you do that like that 15 seconds you take out intentionally, it's like a lot of people, and as much as we don't acknowledge it or ignore it, a lot of people take that 15 seconds, probably 50 minutes to sulk or like stress.
Yeah.
You understand? And that's a whole different vibration they're on. It's not good or bad, it's just an action.
Yeah. But also be like gentle with yourself. Like,
You gotta be kind
don't
to
beat
yourself.
yourself up if you do get stressed. Like, just at like, it's the same thing with the panic attacks. I used to get them so badly. Where to the point like my hands would lock up. Like I remember one time it happened and I was like on the bus, I think, and I couldn't move and I missed my stop and I was just stuck on the bus. And then that shame you feel of like being so effective. Like if you know you get panic attacks and it's probably going to slow you down, like that in itself is like a comfort and takes like some of that fear away. That it's, if something is a given, then it's not as scary.
And it's like, all right, this whole, to add what you're saying, this whole logic about knowledge, it's like it's good to have knowledge, but without the application, it's really useless.
Yeah.
So it's like, as you said, if you acknowledge and really confront what your anxiety is, you basically learn to coexist with it.
Yeah, it's not so scary. Your anxiety is there because you're a fucking smart person and your brain is working so
That's the first
hard.
time I heard that one.
Yeah, your brain, like you think about anxiety, it's like your brain is processing faster than your body can keep up.
Than basically the physical time to keep
Yeah.
because you're seeing scenarios that
So
haven't
it's
even
like
happened
you're
yet.
just like 10 steps ahead of your body, and that like makes you feel like fuck, like I'm like short circuiting, but it's not. You're just like, you're a smart person.
And I feel like that ties back. I feel like that ties back into like where I say the unconscious could reach into the conscious.
Yeah,
like
100%.
non-physical could reach into the physical.
And I think we label the unconscious as something so scary, and it's just a part of us.
I feel like it's not that it's just a part of it; it's an essential part of it.
Yeah, it really is.
Because
like,
think about why is that? Sorry to cut you down, but why is it like the first stage that we go through from 1 to 7, like that
Yeah.
data? Like it is so essential. If it takes 7 years to develop.
Yeah, exactly. and exactly, like you're learning right from wrong, you're knowing your limits, kind of your
And
personality.
it's such a personal lesson. That's
Yeah.
the thing. Like online school where it's like everyone learns kind of like the same curriculum. It's such a personal lesson to learn.
Yeah, and then like all the other factors of like home life and that kind of stuff, like then that starts like kind of molding the way in which you
It's so
behave.
crazy
But it's
how
rather
crazy
than behavior than like your like behavior can be changed and behavior can be taught. But like that inner working of your brain, like we're special. Fuck yeah.
What does light and dark represent to you?
That's a really deep question because it's like lightness over darkness is, I think, just like you yourself like quieting down like those dark thoughts that you have, rather than something like in the world, like physically, or some kind of like devil or something. Like light and dark is more like we have dark thoughts. Like we have negative thoughts, like those dark thoughts. Like when people say I'm going dark, like it's kind of like you're beating yourself up. That's kind of what it means to me, rather than like including somebody else or something else. Like, and then light is like can also be like feeling like less heavy. If you're feeling lighter, you're kind of like letting that kind of those dark heavy thoughts like go away. So it's like both weight and light in terms of like brightness within your thoughts, like the whole like things you talked about, like the energy stuff. If you keep it positive, like you're keeping it light as well, and you feel lighter as a person. Like when you feel heavy, like it's when all of those intrusive thoughts come in. And like and the more it just builds up and it builds up, and like then you feel dark, and like the world seems like a darker place. It's not as bright and beautiful.
Life and people don't realize it, or a lot of people is lost because they don't follow the law of nature. Like the law of nature, it represents us as life forms so much because we're life, as I said, at the end of the day. So as you said, light, the lightness. If you think about the daytime, you think about like the breeze, you think about, you understand what I'm saying? Like plants growing plants. You understand? But like when you think about the night, that's when plants becomes close. Everybody go kind of to themselves.
Yeah, goes to sleep, and then bad
understand?
things happen in the night.
But
like
that's the thing though. It's like it's not a bad thing happens at the night, but because the world is so still.
Yeah.
like you start to see everything else move. Because look on a car, like the frame of a car don't move, but like the tires you see.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? But in a car accident, you look at that like the day, like everything is moving. So
Yeah.
you just see the accident, you just see daytime. But in the night, you see the car driving, you see the tires spinning. You see what I'm
And the
saying?
moon and like darkness.
And then you think about, if I put my hand by the tire, you might get run over and broken.
Yeah,
Because you see the thing moving.
Yeah.
You understand? But it's our eyes, it's all. And as you said, like, you have the opportunity to see like 10 steps ahead. Like, what do you channel with it? Like, it's what channel you going. And I'm gonna put you on to something. I mean, think of it. Nobody never said this. I don't think that it's a written law or nothing like that, okay? It's probably some tweakish thing, the most tweakish thing you ever heard. But you see, like, we have our physical senses again, like our eyes and all that. I believe that they have double meaning, right? I feel like our eyes, I'm gonna try and remember all of them though. Like, our eyes is... Alright, let me start with nose first. I believe nose is like your channel, right? So like with breathing, it puts you on different channel, like different state of mind. You understand? Your mouth is for like truth, you understand? Like honesty and all that. And these are all like things that if you put you in a light state of mind and not a dark state of mind.
Yeah.
You understand? So then like your mouth now is like truth. As I said, your nose is like the channel that you're going. Your ears is for direction. You understand?
Yeah.
Your eyes is, what's eyes again?
Your windows.
Not windows.
Because you can see in and you can see out and people can see in. There's the back and forth.
Yeah.
My mom used to say this, which is true. Like hear that, like, you know, hear no evil, speak no evil, see no evil. And she used to say, why is there no think no evil? Because it's the most important is like this. Like this thinking controls all of this.
But like it's a whole coexisting thing, because if you like, you're a slave to anything you submit to, you understand?
Yeah.
But then like when you coexist, you're on like a different level now. You understand? But then like if you look at like mind, body, and soul, then like the mind got his own section, the body has its own section, and then the soul has its own section, right? And if you're gonna think about creation, we know it's the mind, the soul, and then the physical.
Yeah.
Right? It's not hard work and then you try to create. A lot of people do that, but it's like it happens in your mind, your spirit first, and coexisting with those and accordance with those, and then it's in the physical, you know. But like those trinity, like that triangle right there, I don't want to call it trinity because it sounds so religious.
No, but
like,
I mean, I'm not
right
religious.
there.
I mean, I'm Hindu, but in the sense that is like a natural religion.
Yeah.
In the sense, like you have breathing, certain breathing, like where you breathe, like you make a sound, kind of, and it's like something that vibrates and like heals you inside. I'm not religious either, and
But I believe in that too. I believe in that because, like, as I said, it's like the law in nature. We believe we're so different from trees and stuff like that. We're not.
we're so less. We're less than those things because
I
they're
don't
such
think we're
pure.
less than,
I think because they're so pure.
Planes. Think of planes, right?
No,
Because
they're not man-made. They will be here. They were here before us.
neither we are. If you think about it,
What?
we're not man-made either. Like humans are man-made.
No, but I mean, but they don't destroy us like we destroy them. Need them for
need them.
breathing. They don't need us. We're dependent on them. Like we should respect them more.
We should 100% also.
I love this. This is so good. You know, like when you meet somebody and like it's such the conversation is so good and like you leave feeling on such a high.
Yeah.
From like all of that, not just I guess energy, but like somebody that like just inspires you by being them. Like they're thinking of them just being themselves is something that is so inspirational. So like I think you're doing a great job.
I appreciate it, and I appreciate people who have time out to like have conversations like these. And
Well, clearly I talk a lot, so I have no problem. Like anytime.
It was a pleasure. It was an almost complete pleasure. Right, 7 minutes over, but it was worth it.
Oh my gosh. Well, I'm looking forward to the next episode. You can like lead out with the Snoop Dogg song. Next episode.
I got you.